everyone. This is a video that I'm reluctant to make, but I offered to make the video for a class that I took in high school, that I shared my experience with the teacher, and I have allowed him to share my experiences with his students now and those to come. And because the file is so large when you do videos, this will have to be posted on my YouTube account. So if I feel that it's necessary to take it down, I will. But all of my social media, my contact information, anything, in basically any form you want to contact me, I'll leave in the down bar below, and you can contact me if you have any questions. So yeah, here is my, and I hate to say this online because it kind of scares me, but here is my eating disorder story. Yay. I'd rather be in the classroom and see your faces individually, but obviously due to my job I cannot be there, and he's obviously already gone over this information with you guys, and here's the face behind the story. So basically here's how it started. 11, 12, it's about the time when us girls start to notice our bodies, and even boys. We start to compare ourselves in sports and athletics. How fast can we run? Are we better in basketball? Are we better in softball? Who's playing football? Who's playing, well, obviously not rugby, because we don't play rugby here in this area at least. But we become very competitive now between 11, 12 and onward. And so I started noticing my physical appearance more. I noticed the changing of my body as it became closer to puberty. It was an interesting experience that we all get to experience, and it's a very rough and difficult time. And yeah, details, let's see, the lovely details. I had two relatives who were very much a parental influence in my life. My mother and I never really got along, even as a very small child. My aunt took care of me, and my uncle took care of me. My aunt died right before I turned 9. She left my sister and I birthday cards because she knew her time was coming. And I think after a couple of years of realizing that really hurt and helped push things further. And then you add my uncle, who's so much like my father. He died in 2001, so at the age 11, because I was born in 90, so 23, be 24 in August. Yay. You never believe that people in your life can just die in a point in your life that you're not ready to say goodbye, that you need them at that point in your life, because that's your stronghold. So when my family was grieving in the proper grieving, there's really no proper grieving, but they do the 5 stages, and instead I turned it inward and I took care of myself. I pretty much disassociated from the world around me, and it was Linda focused. It was everything focuses around me. I'm the sun, you're the planet, I don't care. So after all of that happened, I began the anorexia. What happened? I started noticing that my weight was changing. I didn't like that. I didn't like getting bigger, didn't like buying pants anymore. I no longer was a fan of going shopping for pants, because I'd try in one pair and they would fit, and then I'd like another pair but they didn't fit in the same size, and hence the beginning of the hatred of my body. By the time I was 15, I learned about caffeine pills, taking Adderall. Those kids who have ADHD take Adderall, that you could crush it and snuff it, and it would make you high as ever and not eat for a couple days. Hydroxycut, which is only sold to those 18 and older, and yeah, I could get my hands on it from certain people. What else? I was a coffee drinker. I drink tea, drink water, and at that point in my age, 15, I was still drinking soda. I no longer drink soda. I can't stand that stuff. They had come out, I think my junior year or senior year, might have been my senior year, Diet Pepsi Jazz, strawberries and cream. That stuff was so amazing that I would take 4 or 5 cans to school and they would be gone before lunch. And then you pop a caffeine pill on top of that. So I was really sick physically with all of the stuff I was putting in my body, on top of not putting any nutritional things in my body. When that started becoming a little too noticeable, I had to start finding ways to hide that. So I started playing the, well, I'll eat this now and I'll eat this now, and then you kind of pick throughout the day. Well, that gradually began the I'm not going to eat now, and then I'm going to eat everything now, and then I'm going to have a binge cycle, and then I'm going to have a purge cycle. So I went from this continuum to that continuum. So I went the opposite direction, and at first that was hard to hide. Obviously, I make unpleasant tree sounds when you are self-inducing yourself to puke. Doesn't make you don't make the nicest sounds. And so, the running of the bathroom water, music playing on the cell phone, or your iPod, whatever I had at the time, to cover up the sound. I was an avid basketball player, so I had loose-fitting clothes. I had tight-fitting clothes. On the days I felt okay, I wore the tight-fitting. On the days I didn't feel good, I wore the loose-fitting. I noticed that the more that I wore loose-fitting, people started noticing more of my body than I wanted to, so I started wearing big jumpers, like this. It's a big jumper. It's like really oversized, or a sweater, whatever you want to call it. I call them jumpers. It's just really oversized. I'm still in my work clothes. Go figure, Linda. So yeah, you had the choice between one size pair of clothes or the other size pair of clothes. And at that point, I had finally understood, okay, you can't wear this, you can't do this, and you gotta be as quiet as possible. So by the time I was 16, I had figured out how to make myself sick without making a single sound, except for it hitting the water in the toilet. That's awfully disgusting, but that's the disease, and that's what happens. And I got to a really low weight. I'm 5'5". It's very inappropriate to state my weight, so that will never come across in this video. However, it was a very delicate situation because nobody really knew, because I was always in different size clothes, so they didn't really know whether it was just my body shape changing as I was getting older or if there was something behind it. But my family became more and more suspicious as the longer the bathroom water ran, the stranger my habits got. You tend to get found out eventually. Maybe not for a while, maybe not for a few years, but there will be suspicions, and sometimes your family won't say anything until after you started receiving help that there were suspicions, but they didn't know how to bring it up. They were afraid to bring it up, or they didn't want to bring it up because they were in denial themselves. So essentially, I had gotten sicker. I could barely function through school. It was really difficult to get through the day without my moods. I would go to school and I would be hyper as heck, and by the end of the school day somebody would literally have to carry me out of the building because I had no energy. There was nothing left for me. I couldn't walk. I had gotten so weak that I couldn't climb the stairs. I had friends carry my bag, and then I would meet them up at the top of the steps. And none of my friends even knew. They had suspicions, but they did not know. They did not know. They didn't ask any questions. And they surely didn't ask questions when we would go out to eat, and then I would be in the bathroom right after we ate for 10 minutes, if not more. Nobody questioned it. It's very interesting. To this day, I still don't know why. I've never brought the issue up with them. Maybe I should. Maybe that'll be an update video. So that my family suspected it, but my family didn't know what to do. By mid, I can't really say mid, junior year, this is the second half of junior year, it was in January, we were just doing finals, and my dad died of cancer. Whoa, that's a bomb. Yeah, my dad died when I was 16 of lung cancer. It was a long battle, a long struggle, and for a daddy's girl, it was the worst thing that could ever happen to me. And again, I internalized everything. I was so sick, and I had the money at my disposal to buy my drugs of choice, to buy the Adderall, to buy the Xanax, to buy the caffeine, to buy the Hydroxycut, you name it, I bought it. If it made me high enough that I wouldn't eat for a couple of days, I didn't care. Really didn't care. And I don't recall if we were allowed to bring beverages from outside instead of purchasing them at the school, but my senior year I would buy coffee and take it in. I would make my tea with a tea diffuser, and I would bring my tea in. I'd bring water, and I'd bring soda. And I don't recall ever being told that I wasn't allowed to have it, but I'm pretty sure I was one of those strange students who got away with a lot of crap. Because a lot of times I met with my teachers. I met with Mr. Whitman, and we sat down and we had a chat, and they knew and my family didn't. And so I had people watching over me a lot of times. Just before I graduated, I swore up and down I was going to run away. I was so sick of living. I didn't want to live no more. So I shot all of my teachers, the ones that, knew my situation, the ones that I talked to, And I told them I was not going to graduate, I was not going to walk, that I was literally going to run away and never come back. And you wouldn't believe the phone calls that started pouring into my house asking if I was home, had I run away. I had gotten 2 calls. Much of it stayed pretty quiet. I'd snuck by 2 of the teachers that I had emailed because they were completely immersed in I can't remember what they were immersed in doing, but they were sitting there talking about me, and I was standing 2 feet away from them about how, oh my god, did she show up for school? Did she show up on the roster? Is she here? Did she really take off? I didn't take off. I was too scared to take off because I was too scared to lose these people in my life because I had no one else. That's why I know for a fact that any one of you in that classroom right now watching this can look at Mr. Whitman and know for a fact that you can confide in him and he's going to get you the help that you need. He can point you in the right direction, and he, as he has stated 1,000 times before, he's not a professional, but he can find you the help you need. Or if there's another teacher, confide in them. If there's an older adult who has a little bit more life experience than you do, confide in them. Say something to someone, because you may not want to live to see a certain age, but that's not life. That's just existing. And I spent way too much time just existing. And looking back, I would never do it again. Looking back, it was a disease, and is a disease. It's a disease of the mind, of the spirit, of the heart. And I'm sure Mr. Whitman has showed you excerpts from my binder, and I'm not kidding you. This thing is massive. But when you're 15 and you have your own email address and you can do what you want, and your dad is dying of cancer, and your mother's working 2 shifts to make up for the income that we're losing to the chemo and radiation treatments, you come to find a binder that is done in glitter glue, so don't ask. I was just a little too creative at that point. And as you see, it says Anna's Palace. This is where anorexia lived, in this huge binder. And I would print out collages. I'd print out collages of, a very sickly, highly depressed individuals. I wrote my Anna because it was mine. It was my disease, and it was my way of coping with everything that I didn't want to cope with. You not only had that, but I have tons of these floating around in that binder. Tons of them. Tons. That's sad. And then I would go through thousands of obviously not thousands, but I would go through every magazine and find the skinniest thing I could find. The skinnier, the better. The better the inspiration, the better off I was. I'm sorry, I have all my stuff over here on my desk. And then here it comes. Quotes. Yeah. these websites called Pro-Ana websites, where you find pictures like that, you find a community. Not really the best community. Much of it is tips and tricks. Much of it now is no longer tips and tricks, but it was a community that I found that helped me stay sick, and there were Pro-Ana communities that helped me find the community in order to talk, in order to get better. So these websites aren't good, and they're not bad. I suggest to stay away from them. Just stay away from them, because much like me, if you're as sick as I am, you will just use the websites for what they were created. Here's a quote that I found. I don't see how my own eyes could be lying to me even with this illness. Because we all know that picture of the very skinny anorexic looking in the mirror with the very obese woman. And that's the image that you have in your mind, that what you see in the mirror is not who you really look like. It's not reality, because your brain is so warped that what that mirror, this little camera / mirror, what it says was not what I looked like. And I look back in some of the pictures after I left high school, and I've gotten sicker. It was quite interesting. To sum it all up, after high school, my moods really shifted. I was really sick. Went to see a counselor. She referred me off to a psychiatrist. Found out I had bipolar disorder. Did not want to be on meds, because a lot of the meds, antipsychotics, the mood stabilizers, all had side effects of weight gain. And I wanted nothing to do with that, so I said, no, forget it. And then I got sicker and sicker and sicker until I didn't have a choice. My first admission to the UVMC behavioral unit, what used to be known as Detmer, was July of 2011. I hadn't slept in 3 days. I was so depressed that I'd overdosed on my medication twice. I had a friend who I'd saw 2 days before a car accident which killed her. And I just lost it. I just freaked out. I just lost it. And so off to Detmer I went on a voluntary scale. I was so sick, I just went in. And the day I was admitted, I'd overdosed so bad that Thursday evening, Friday, most of Friday, I don't remember. I barely remember being there. Then I got a little bit better. They released me. We were still messing with my meds so that I would be stable in my moods. So I had a second hospitalization, number 2, in October. In September, maybe? September, I think. September or October. And so that leaves you with, and this is another hot mess, but psychiatric records. Again, look at this mess. There you go. There's a better side. Look at that. Just one from the hospital. Here you go. UVMC. All different kinds of paperwork. The best thing there were the groups. And you got all these handouts. Too much stress can lead to relapse. And I'm pretty sure I can get some. If you guys want some of these handouts, Mr. Whitman can ask for copies. But the best part about being there was that you had downtime and you had quiet time, and they had tons of these laying out, and so you learn how to color. You learn how to color. And so after I got out of hospital, I went and bought a bunch of coloring books and a bunch of crayons and everything. And so that has definitely been a plus. One last thing. Sorry, my desk is right here. Morning, night / evening, evening / night, morning, night. This is my daily regimen to keep myself healthy. Without these, I would be back to what I was in high school. A very sick, a very scared, sad little girl who didn't know how to live in the real world. Was too scared to live in the real world. And finally found someone who I could confide in and who could point me in the right direction, who offered to have phone calls and try and see who I could see, who I couldn't see, who accepted what insurance and not. And without that help, I would be dead. I wouldn't be here to say that I'm 23, I'll be 24 in August. When I was 17, I honestly didn't think I would see my 18th birthday. When I was 18, I honestly thought I would never live to see 21. And here I am today, 23, and going on 24. 24. Wow. I'm getting old. But I've done a lot. And you have to want recovery. You can't be forced into recovery. You have to want it. Do I still have troubles today? Yeah, I have horrible troubles today, because I'm on medications, and they do cause your weight to fluctuate, and I wear bigger size jeans than I ever thought I'd ever wear, and that just comes with age and maturity and life. And when you're stressed out and you've got school, and you just, I don't know how to really end this other than there are so many ways to hide the scary things that you're doing. But at the same time, there are a lot of people, trust me, there are a lot of people who know the signs and symptoms and can point it out quite quickly, and 9 times out of 10 they're right. But they let you come to them. They let you make that decision on your own. And for me, it was the best decision I could have ever made. And I'm thankful I did. I'm alive. I'm alive in the comfort of my own room. But it's been a wild ride. I'm doing a lot better. Do I ever want to go back to that? No. Sadly enough, I had used Hydroxycut there for a while, and that doesn't work. It does not work. It doesn't matter if you use it properly. It doesn't matter if you overdose on it like I always did. Never works. It's a gimmick. It's $20 a box for 21 packets. 2 packets a day. Trust me, it's a waste. 1, waste. 2, stay away from pro-ana sites. Again, this is going on YouTube, so please, YouTube community, I am not bashing pro-ana sites. I'm just saying, for those who are so sick that it is life or death, stay away from the sites. They are a good community in some and not in others. There's no one particular site that I'm going to bash. And I won't bash any of them, because they provided a community support that helped me be able to communicate with Mr. Whitman and others that something just was not right with me. And through these websites, I recognized that I was seriously ill. And so with that, get the help you need. Talk. Find someone to confide in. Find someone who's not going to tell you this is what you are going to do, this is how it's going to happen, and that's it. Find somebody who's willing to listen and to say, I'm here if you need me. I'm here if you want my help. Because when you find someone like that, your life has just been saved. Okay? Your life's just been saved. 2, stay away from websites that you don't need. 3, don't go out there and buy caffeine pills. Don't buy diet pills. And most certainly, do not buy prescription drugs that are not prescribed to you. A, that's illegal. B, that's deadly dangerous. I could have died. At that point, I didn't care. But don't do it. All I ask is you don't do it. Okay? Just don't. Okay? My offer to you is you can contact me below at any of my social media sites or in the down bar. Leave comments. Ask Mr. Whitman for more information. If you want more information, I can copy these papers. I can email them to you. But if you want to see me in person and you live in this area, shoot me an email. Maybe we can meet face to face and we can kind of talk through things. I'm very open and honest about this with a lot of people, because I know through my struggles that things will get better if I take my story and I give it out to you. Because then you're going to either take my story and get better, or take my story and walk out the door and act like you never heard anything. So I think I covered everything, Mr. Whitman. If I didn't, I can make another video. Maybe Mr. Whitman, here you go. Here you go. If you got any questions, concerns, or you want, or I did cover something, let me know and I will make another video. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I've done a lot in the last couple of years, and I have to say, if it wasn't for Mr. Whitman and a few other teachers and counselor and friends in that community of adults, I wouldn't be here today. And with that, respect them. They're there to help you. You may hate teachers all you want because you think they're ruining your life. You know what? They may be your saving grace. For all you know, they could be your saving grace. So thank them for what they do. Thank them for being who they are. And most of all, thank Mr. Whitman for being the best teacher that this community has seen. Because he's just that awesome. He's going to fight for you. He's going to help you. And, you know, he and a lot of other teachers really do care about you students. Not just the students, but as young adults who are growing up in a world that is so scary, where you can't go to school without being scared you're going to, you know, maybe not walk out those doors and go home. Or you've got my issues, or you're so depressed it's not funny, or you're so manic it's not funny, or you've got some other health issue. Let someone know. Okay? Let someone know, and just let someone be there for you. It's not an easy, simple fix. It takes years. And you as an individual has to want recovery. Mr. Whitman, anybody in this world cannot put you in a recovery center or put you in a counselor's office and say, you will do this and you will get better, because you won't get better. Until you make that choice, you are not going to get better. So with that, I bid you adieu. Hopefully this video has made some help. Maybe it's done nothing. Thumbs up. If you have YouTube, if you have an account, thumbs up. Don't thumbs down. Thumbs up. Subscribe's button down there. So I wish you all the best in your junior and senior year. And if you want to contact me personally without having to talk to Mr. Whitman, go right ahead. Or if you want to talk to him and then talk to me, it's perfectly fine. But find someone to talk to a couple of times. And I just wish you all the best. Any comments, questions, concerns, anything you want to know, let Mr. Whitman know. Tell him to send me an email saying, I want a question and answers video. Send me and have him collect anonymously or non-anonymously questions that you want to ask me. He can email him and I can do another video. Whatever you want, I'm here. I've obviously already told my story, so I wish you all the best. I wish I could be there in person to answer your questions, straightforward, but since I cannot, let's use our social media to do something good for once, instead of creating drama or unnecessary things. So let's use it for a good purpose. So I wish you all the best. Hugs and kisses.